guys, this is Ross with Hamil Brothers Studios, and I am a member of Shane's Inner Circle. And if you are an aspiring filmmaker or currently are a filmmaker or do any kind of video production work at all, I highly recommend checking it out, shanesinnercircle.com. In our secret online Facebook group, a guy by the name of Corey Wires posted a question asking how to achieve an effect out of a music video, and he sent me some test footage, and so I'm just going to run you guys through how to achieve this effect. The effect is basically creating a background and then creating an overlay over our individual, which is going to be different from the background. And the music video he sent me, there's several different variations of that same technique, but this basic thing will get you any one of those results by making different combinations. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and jump in here. Go ahead and scale that up. So right here we have our footage of our main subject here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by duplicating this once by hitting Control D or Command D on my keyboard. I am on Windows, so if I happen to leave out a Mac command, I hope you can figure that out. So I'm going to hit Enter, and I'm going to change the name on this bottom one to BG Matte, which is going to be our background matte. And I'm going to go ahead and drop in our background, which I just downloaded some clips off of Video Blocks. So I don't really know what the background is that Corey's wanting to use, but this will get the point across. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add to our background matte, I'm going to add a tint effect. Drop that on there. I'm going to mute this top layer, and so now we have a black and white. Didn't mean to do that twice. Now we have a black and white version of this clip. The second thing I'm going to do is go to our effects and go to levels and drop the levels effect on. Now what this is going to do is I'm going to move up the blacks so we completely black out our subject. And that's looking pretty good. Our lines are still pretty clean, and all we're doing is just creating a Luma matte. So what I can do here is go to my bottom layer, which is our background, and select Luma Matte, BG Matte. And as you can see, just by selecting that track matte mode, it automatically creates our background for us. So this top layer, I'm going to go ahead and rename it. I'm just going to call it Person, because I don't know who this guy is or what he's doing here besides singing, but I do know that he's going to be our main subject. So I'm going to turn that back on. Then I'm going to take my background matte here and hit Control or Command D and duplicate my background matte, bring it up to the top, and I'm going to rename it FG Matte, which is going to be our foreground matte. Then I'm going to duplicate that one more time. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go ahead and turn off the audio on those, but I'm going to set my person to Luma Matte Inverted. And so what that does is that takes the opposite of what we matted down here in our background, and now you can see he's cut out of the background. Now we do have some spillover here, but with this effect it's really not going to hurt anything. So what I'm going to do here is go back to my effects pane, type in tint, I'm going to drag that onto our person layer, and now I'm going to go back up to my project pane, and I've got a second foreground that we're going to overlay over the person. So I just found some kind of matrixy LED looking thing. I'm going to go back to my composition. I'm going to drag this down over the person. I'm sorry, I'm going to move that up. It's going to go over the foreground matte. It's going to go between the two foreground mattes. So what I'm going to do here, we've got the person already matted out, and we're going to do the same thing with our matrix outline, so we're going to go ahead and set that to Luma Inverted Matte. So now you can see that that is cut out to the same shape as our subject here. So from there, what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and select Overlay for this. And there are a ton of different options. Multiply might work. Screen kind of works. Overlay, out of all the ones I've tried, seems to work the best. So what we've got here is our basically our subject has a different overlay than our background. You can come in here and you can add curves to our person, maybe brighten them up a little bit, you know, add some contrast, maybe bring up our mids a little bit. I mean, really, it's whatever you want to do. You know, just kind of adjust to taste. And then we can even, you know, take our matrix level. I'm going to hit T to bring up the opacity. Maybe turn down the opacity a little bit so it's not so harsh. And then there you have it. From there you can just hit the 0 key on your number pad to do a RAM preview, or you can select this right here. Start a RAM preview. And there you have it. I apologize for the background noise. This is a really quick and dirty tutorial, but as you can see, we kind of got our effect generated. Now we can do something a little bit different that I did see on that video. I'm going to go ahead and drag our footage down into a new comp. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to call the second layer matte. And I'm going to duplicate the background layer again. And on our matte layer, I'm going to go back to tint, drag that on, and then I'm going to go to levels, drag this on, and again, I'm just going to bring this up. And the background isn't quite even. That's something you could fix with, you know, masking in After Effects, but I'm not going to dive into that right now because that's not real important to what we're looking for. So we've got our matte. I'm going to set this to Luma Inverted. And then on our test, I'm going to drop, actually I'm going to rename this again, and rename this person so we know that's what our deal is. I'm going to call this BG for background. I'm going to duplicate our matte, bring that down, and then go ahead and do a Luma matte. And then on our person, we have this, you know, we have them on a white background. Go ahead and add a tint to our person layer. And then I'm going to go to Colorama, because this was another effect that I saw kind of on that video. And really this is whatever you want to do. So I'm going to go with like a sunset color tone, maybe a solarize. See what happens. Solarize blue. And there's all sorts of options that you can do. And if we don't want to matte this, let's see how this looks with no track matte. It's a little cleaner, not much. But then we have this individual with a different color effect. Kind of going here. And again, if we want to really change it up, we can just drop a curves layer, curves effect in below. The colorama and really crush it, because that, you know, yeah, every one of these is just different techniques to kind of accomplish this effect here. So, and so there's a ton of stuff you can really do to make this, you know, go for the look you want. So I think this should get you a good starting point. You know, here in the output cycle in Colorama, there are so many different colors that you can go with. I mean, you've got, and there's just a ton of options. There really are. So, and you can set up custom ones if you want. I don't use this effect a lot, so I really can't comment on how much time that would take, but as you can see, there's just a ton of options here. So anyway, I hope that's helpful, and I hope that gets you a good place to start, and you know, take this, run with it, make it your own, and good luck with your projects. Thanks for tuning in. Again, I'm Ross with Hamil Brothers Studios, and I will be talking to you next time.